Good morning and welcome to Cisco Live Melbourne 2019. My name is Raymond Janssen van Rensburg and I'll be your host over the next 2 days. We've got an action-packed agenda that'll provide you, the live audience, with front row seats to a whole host of program elements that we offer here at Cisco Live. Firstly, we're going to bring you 2 keynotes. The opening keynote delivered by Irving Tan. Irving is Senior Vice President of Operations here at Cisco, and his keynote will focus on building a digital business for the future. Now, Irving leads operations at Cisco, and he will provide a first-hand account of how we are transforming Cisco into the future. The opening keynote will be hosted by Miyuki Suzuki, President for Asia Pacific, Japan, and China. Next up is the technology keynote. That'll be broadcast tomorrow morning local time, and it will be delivered by Scott Harrell. Scott is the Senior Vice President and General Manager for the Enterprise Networking business at Cisco. Now, I'm a technologist and I will not miss that session. It's always great to listen to some of our top executives providing us with a view of what's coming down in the future. The second program element that we're bringing to you is the Innovation Talks. We will stream all the Innovation Talks that'll take place on Wednesday and Thursday, that's today and tomorrow, from the world of solutions. And it covers a whole host of topics. First up that I enjoy quite a lot is Privacy Engineering, delivered by Michelle Denedy. She's our Chief Privacy Officer. Then we've got Colin Kincaid, our Chief Technology Officer from the service provider business, talking about monetizing the impacts from 5G. We've also got lots of other topics, including automation in the multi-cloud world, a new era of customer experience, and the top 10 trends that'll impact your business in 2019. These are just a few of the innovation talks that we're bringing to you. And then finally, just for you, our live broadcast audience, we're bringing you a host of deep dive interviews with guests here in the live broadcast studio covering topics such as multi-cloud, security, software-defined networking, service provider, and we will also look at customer zero. Now, for a detailed agenda on the live broadcast, please look at the broadcast schedule that is published at ciscolive.com. Cisco Live has been part of my career for more than 20 years. As a delegate, I started attending an event called Networkers. Today, it's Cisco Live. And for me, it was a tremendous experience, sitting in the room, listening to some of the top engineers at Cisco, sharing their knowledge, their experience, and their insights. And I couldn't wait to go back to the office the following week to take some of that knowledge that I gained and apply it to the work environment. Cisco Live was a source of knowledge and inspiration, and it helped shape my career. Today, the Cisco Live broadcast is an event aimed at you, our virtual attendees from across Asia Pacific, Japan, and China. And we will also translate that simultaneously into Japanese, Korean, and Chinese. Remember, you can not just watch the live broadcast, but also get access to Cisco Live On Demand. From the event, we will load 300 new session videos that will be shared to you on the 19th of March. Part of those session videos will include all of the breakout sessions, the deep technical content that we want to share with each and every one of you. Over the course of the live broadcast, you'll have the inspiration for what is possible. We want to be the bridge to the possible. Again, from me, a very, very warm welcome to the live broadcast. I'm looking forward to the content that will be shared over the next 2 days, and I trust that you will find it valuable and insightful. This brings us to our very first deep dive interview, and we're going to talk about Zero Trust. And with me in the studio, I've got Erin Woodland. Erin is a principal engineer in the Advanced Threat Security Organization. Good morning, Erin. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
Very well. Erin, again, thank you for agreeing to be part of the live audience or the live broadcast, and also for traveling to Australia to spend time with our customers and partners. So, there is so much noise in the industry around zero trust. We see marketing hype where everybody who's got a security product is now somehow providing zero trust. Apart from that, our customers are asking Cisco, what do we have to offer in zero trust? But before we get to that, Erin, can you explain to the audience what zero trust is anyway?
Absolutely. And so zero trust is something that's really caught on to the industry very recently. It's really caught on, which is why basically anyone with a security product says, I've got to get involved in zero trust somehow. Hey, look, we have something. How do we tie this into zero trust and tell people that's what we're giving them? What zero trust really is an old security paradigm reimagined, kind of taking the security fundamentals and flipping them on their head, right? We typically focus on, protecting our users, protecting our endpoints, protecting our assets from attack, right? And creating borders or creating, shells or, protective walls, right? And what zero trust does is change that paradigm to say, let's actually protect the data. Let's protect access to that data and ensure that no one has access by default, no matter where they are, right? And that we're only providing access to the trusted user coming in from the trusted device. So a lot of that concept has been around for a very long time. In the early 2000s, when I would attend networkers as well, right? We were talking about network admission control and things of that nature. Yes, absolutely. Lock and key is another solution. All of these things are similar paradigms. Let me know who you are and what you're on before I give you access.
So that's great. The big question then is, how do organizations protect the apps and the data in a zero trust environment?
So it's a really great question. So the first thing is to, make sure we can identify who you are, right, with a strong authentication mechanism before giving you access to that data, but also making sure you only get the right level of access to that data. So for instance, you can use a multi-factor authentication to say, yes, this is my credential, right? But in addition to that, I'm proving I have something in addition to that credential to say I am who I say I am, okay, right? Providing a strong authentication instead. Right? Today, we always say that a hacker's not going to hack into your network as easily as they're going to log into your network with those stolen credentials. So an MFA is hugely important.
Okay. Now, it sounds like pretty easy for us to identify a user to see if he can be trusted or not. But how do we determine if a device should be trusted?
That's a very good question. So it's very important to zero trust that we're talking about the right users, the right devices, at the right locations, at the right times, right? Leveraging multiple attributes for an authorization decision that's going to be made prior to giving you access to any of that data or logging into the application. So for years, Cisco has been talking about things like posture. We've acquired companies that also do what you might consider more like posture light. Even with BYOD access on the network, we've talked about, ensuring the device has an encrypted drive, that it, has pin lock or biometrics enabled, that, it's managed by the correct device manager. So as part of that access decision to the application, the access decision to the data, we can leverage attributes about that endpoint to ensure that it's meeting the security policy of the company, identifying the device, is it a managed device or isn't it, right? All of those types of either micro level attributes or macro level attributes, depending on how strict you need to be for that piece of data. You may choose to go really detailed into small, minute things to look at on a device before giving access to, say, patient records, okay, right? But you may care less about giving access to the main intranet page, right, for your company. So it's about giving the right level of access at the right time, but at the data and application layers, not just say the network layer, which we're typically used to.
Okay, got it. No, that's great. So, Erin, many view Zero Trust as a security architecture that makes the network and network security less relevant. Given that we as Cisco play in the network realm, how serious can we be about Zero Trust then?
Well, I would say $2.3 billion is pretty serious, and that's what we spent to acquire Duo Security. Mm-hmm. There is an interesting thought pattern around this in that, again, one of the things that we did very well over long periods of time, we're just talking about network admission control. Mm-hmm. You know, we've been doing this for a very long time with things like ICE, right? And the aspect of what we did well married up very, very well with what Duo does well, where we're providing a network access control function, they're providing an application access control function. Okay. So it pairs up really, really nicely. And that application access control function is where many people think Zero Trust stops. Right? Maybe it starts and stops there for some people in their model. That's not actually true at all. That's only one aspect of it, right? So like yesterday in the US at RSA conference, one of the keynotes was delivered by Matt Wachinski, who is our VP over our Talos threat intelligence organization. Yes. And one of the pieces of information that he really focused on is the fact that IoT is one of the biggest threats we have to our companies at the moment, because these devices and how they're managed become really, really important targets for people to gain access into our environments. So, you know, we're talking on internet connected cameras right now, right? We have systems that are connected to the network that are not human interactive. So that application access control of asking for the user and the device kind of goes away, and now we're just looking at the device itself. The machine-to-machine connections, which are over 50% of the connections in a modern environment on the internet today, right? Something that doesn't have that human for that strong human authentication. And that's actually where Cisco has been shining for years and continues to shine, and why the network is still extremely important. Right, so it's a married up technological approach, right? Not necessarily replacive one.
Perfect, and as you said, $2.3 billion is a true indication of our commitment in this space. Now, Erin, security teams spent years developing tools and developing procedures to combat threats. Does Zero Trust make all of that investment in time and money null and void?
Oh, it's another really good question. So, you know, as people will like to make Zero Trust into what they've already thought they want it to be, instead of what it really was designed to be. And they'll also think that maybe they're getting true Zero Trust in a world where we can't necessarily get to what we always intended, even from way back in 2003, 2004 at our Jericho forum. But the point is that it's a complementary technology, not a replacive one, right? We still have to ensure that endpoint is secure, clean, right? It's not being infected, because if I am the right user and I'm using my device, but that device is compromised, right? That device should not be trusted now, right? So we have to keep the devices secure. We have to keep the devices clean. We have to prevent threats as part of an overall security strategy, right? So a Zero Trust strategy is a complementary approach, an extra tool in our toolbox, right, to overall build our secure architecture.
Okay, great, and it's good to know that people can reuse some of that capability that they've developed over time.
Oh, they have to, absolutely.
Moving on to Cisco, and within Cisco, the solution that we offer from a Zero Trust perspective is called Cisco Trusted Access. Yes. Can you elaborate for us on what is it and what's included with it?
Yes, absolutely. So we like to call Cisco Trusted Access a practical approach to Zero Trust, because again, we're one of the few companies in the world that has enough product portfolio to actually meet all the pillars of a true Zero Trust architecture, right? Especially now that we've acquired Duo and brought them into the fold. So the practical approach is because we understand that there are compensating controls that need to be in place where a true zero trust architecture is not possible today, right? Or is less possible. We need to work on for instance, prescriptively telling you how to lower your re-authentication timers so that we can make our decisions more rapidly and make sure that they don't last as long, to try and get more towards a continuous authorization instead of a time-based authorization, which we're at in most technologies today.
Okay.
So the trusted access solution is a combination of product, combination of advisory services, and just recommended deployment strategy that's prescriptive, it's consumable, it's repeatable, right? And it's taking into account a generalized approach and the services that it comes with, right? The either through partners or through Cisco's own customer experience team, or CX team as we call it, right? Is to kind of tailor that to the needs of the individual company, because what is needed to provide zero trust at, say, a hospital may be different than what's needed at a financial institution or a bank that has hundreds to thousands of bank branches where the public comes in and out of it all the time, as compared to a manufacturing floor where you've got a tremendous amount of OT, right? The IoT technologies that are, have to remain safe to keep people alive on a manufacturing plant, and the medical devices have to maintain, safety, but also we have to protect the data. Right? And with that data protection, right, it's how do we make sure that we're allowing medical devices, segmenting them so that they're separate from the devices that they don't need to talk to, like printers, like financial systems and so forth, right? Keep them secure, give them the least privileged access, right? So that they're not trusted by default, but they're trusted after they've proven they are what they say they are, right? And allow the business and enable the business to do their functions in a secure way that is not just saying, hey, you're on our network, therefore you have carte blanche access.
Perfect.
Right?
So if I'm a delegate listening to the live broadcast, what do I do after this session? How do I start on this journey? What would you recommend as the path forward?
I'll say the first thing is either join my session at 4:30 today, where we're going to dive into this for 90 minutes. And then also, I would say, go to our Trusted Access page on cisco.com/go/trusted access, right? And take a look at the steps that we start recommending. We break it down into 6 jobs. We tell you step 1 through step 6, what to do, kind of how to do it as a generalized overview, right? And then contact your Cisco representative about services to come in and advise on rolling out the solution as a whole.
Excellent. Do you mind repeating that website again?
It's cisco.com/go/trusted access.
Perfect. So you've got that, cisco.com/go/trusted access. It is a great opportunity to go and explore how you can apply that within your environment. Erin, was a great discussion. Good to explore trusted or zero trust within the Cisco environment. Delegates, as Erin said, will be able to attend his session. If you're in Melbourne, you can go to his session at 4:30 this afternoon, and the topic is Zero Trust, a model for more efficient security.
And it will be as well on demand, right? So
correct, and that is, it will be available on demand for you on the 19th of March. So if you do listen to us virtually, you can get access to Erin's session at that point in time. So Erin, thank you again. All the best for your session later on today.
Thank you very much for having me.
You on the live broadcast. We're going to take a very brief break, and we will be right back here in the studio to explore collaboration in more detail. Don't go away.